The Richmond Times-Dispatch has hosted its annual Best of Richmond's awards for the last 10 years, and the competition is getting better with age. For 2024's Best of Richmond contest, local businesses and organizations received upward of 230,000 votes from fans online and 85,000 more from devotees taking advantage of the ease of the text to vote option. In 180 different categories, Richmonders showered their favorite places and people with love. The contest's longevity and passion are two great reasons to celebrate. And that's exactly what the Richmond Times-Dispatch planned for its Best Fest 2024 ballroom gala celebration at the Altria Theater that happened on September 12th. It was a celebration to remember. The annual awards gala has transitioned through the years into a themed event with the previous year's festivities, welcoming attendees to a night at the prom and guiding them on a trip back to the roaring 20s. Richmond Times-Dispatch marketing director Billy Garland, who leads the planning for this signature event, said the response from guests eager to don threads of a different time was overwhelming. We were amazed how many people showed up who looked like they were straight out of Peaky Blinders, Garland said. That's why 2024's event had to be special. A ceremony allowing attendees to honor the best of Richmond in high style. Garland said that given guests immense, tie to the themes, there's one more remarkable time period that lends itself to fun, fashion, and festivities, and that being the disco era. Riffing off the styles of New York's famed nightclub Studio 54, Best Fest 2024 encouraged attendees to don bell-bottoms, platform shoes, and their best polyester suit to dance the night away, while celebrating the businesses that have become beloved local institutions. Outside the venue, members of Richmond's own River City Roller Derby, dressed in period-appropriate threads, greeted guests with astounding feats of dexterity, and inside the ballroom of the Altria Theater, which is where I was. Well, we'll get to that. It's just kind of, anyways. It was a distinctive snapshot of historical motifs and architecture, transformed to carry attendees back to the disco era with a few modern flourishes that partygoers in the digital age have come to appreciate. DJ Flava was on hand to spin the best tunes from the 70s with a few modern favorites cut in. The team from Makeup by Holly manned the Glow Up station, and that was for women who do not have any real ability to put on their own makeup, even though the fact still remained that real women of beauty don't even need makeup. And that's just another thing that needs to be noted. Did I tell you what happened? I went to that makeup station, and they were all like, well, it's a, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Sam NewsMan, setting the standard and raising the bar. And they said, well, Sam, you're a little short for setting the standard and raising the bar. And of course, without a miss, I told her that I was a grower and not a shower, and she withered away the way that she should have, because you just can't top me. I just don't understand why people think that here I am showing up to an event, and as the most trusted puppet in media, that they can sit there and think they can one-up me. You cannot one-up me. An award-winning, back-to-back award-winning radio personality, a real media puppet, and you think that you can outmaneuver me. all of you out there are really funny. When I sit there and think about it, the fact that people think that there's actually some kind of competition between a real media puppet and human human talking heads, human press people, there's really no competition. I mean, I could go into this a lot more, but you know what? I'm just going to pause for a moment. Let me just finish this because here we are. We have at the center of the ballroom was an LED dance floor reminiscent of John Travolta's classic scene in Saturday Night Fever. Now, I was on that dance floor. Ms. Binky of Q94 and Mix 98.1. Ms. Binky. Is it Ms. Do I say Miss? Do I say Miss Binky or Ms. Binky? I don't know. I need to know. I want to make sure that I give her the proper credit because she got me breaking it down. I was backing that felt up. Use a fine mother puppet, won't you back that felt up? I mean, that's exactly what I do. Setting the standard and raising the bar. Well, I mean, there's nobody that can back that felt up better than me. And of course, I was sitting there backing that felt up on that disco dance floor. It would have made John Travolta blush. It would. Maybe he would have given me a pat on the back. No, listen, it was night fever all over the place. Night fever, we know how to show it. What was another one? No, don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good time. Blame it on the boogie. It was so good. It was fantastic. Of course, I waited until I knew exactly where it was. Oh, okay. Wait, let me stop. Hold on. I gotta finish the article first. Hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me get back to this. But the focal point of the evening has always been the winners. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. The distinguished businesses that found in the pages of this section, the Best Fest 2024's hundreds of attendees comprise the Richmond Times-Dispatch staff, employees of nominated companies, and members of the community. Got an early glimpse of the results. At its heart, the Best of Richmond is a Reader's Choice Award. It's a Listener's Choice Award. And here are the facts. The facts are that we're on an 8-mile signal here at the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. The facts are is that we had to buy a $250 phone number to make sure that you could text a vote. But here are the facts. Because we had to do that, the reason why we had to do that is because if you had to register your information and voted online, you would have been kicked out because we found that out last year. Last year, we made third place for the Best of Richmond for the best morning radio show. And it kept bugging me all year. The fact that there's been this DJ Siegel that has been on the airwaves since my producer was in high school. That's right. Yeah, see, look, even the California Raisin had to just fall off the microphone for it. Because those are the facts. Old DJ Siegel's been around for way too long. And things have gotten stale. And it made me upset last year that we got third place and he got second. Now, of course, I can sit there and talk about old Brother John. I won't talk about Brother John right now. God bless Brother John. Brother John ended up winning most votes for the last 2 years. So Brother John was never the issue. The issue was the syndicated radio show host. Because here are the facts. There's a new sheriff in town. And of course, that is me. Your support helps RVA businesses and the community thrive, and your enthusiasm reinforces the spirit that makes this city such a special place to live. Listen, I want to thank everyone, of course, for voting this year. Voting started, of course, back in July. It started off earlier than that. What was it, May? May was the nomination round. And there were about 20 morning radio shows. Out of those 20 morning radio shows, only about five of them make the top 5. And out of those top 5, only 3 make the top 3. Last year, we got 3rd place. We got the bronze medal. This year, we got 2nd place, silver. But even though it is 2nd place, the reality is that it is 1st place in all of y'all's hearts. I say y'all because I am south of the Mason-Dixon, y'all. It's the entire audience. It's because you understand the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning. You understand what we've been doing here for the last 6 years. You understand that everyone else on that list is not a volunteer. This is technically a volunteer radio show. Now, of course, we get paid in other ways. And we've been able to breach the gates of Mordor with my producer. But the facts still remain the same, is that everybody you see on that list is some kind of business. And we are the only independent radio show that is on that list. We're the only independent, I guess, media organization that would be on that list. We're completely independent. Listen, there's nobody funding this other than you guys and the imagination and nostalgia that you feed in by listening to the show. And that's a really big deal, because there might be a time and a place where we're no longer here on college radio. I doubt that, because I will make sure that I still stick around as best that I can. But outside of that, let's say that we're not here anymore and you're going to have to listen to us elsewhere. And that's going to be okay, because all that means is that we're taking our signal that is going coast to coast and around the world on WDCE.org. Also, download the Live 365 app. Search WDCE. You'll be able to listen to the show all around the world as well. But that's what we're doing here. Corporate radio feels like that they have a dominion over the airwaves. Well, I'm telling you right now that they do not. They never have. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm still here, they never will, unless they give me a good paycheck. Well, I mean, hey, listen, you got to pay the bills. I mean, if somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, well, listen, hey, Sam, here's the sign this contract, $2 million. I mean, you're going to do it, right? Well, I'm not going to sell my soul to anybody. No, right? No, listen, this puppet's soul is eternal and pure and pristine, outside of anything that I do that is off the record. No, I'm kidding. But we are here. It is the 14th day of September in the year 2024. It is 10:33, broadcasting live from the sunny, beautiful campus here at the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for joining into the show. Kenzo's Creation is there, Legion X83, Philip Story, Lone Dragon, a couple of other people here, of course, in the chat. We are broadcasting live, WDCE 90.1 FM. Yes, that's a real radio microphone right over there. Real radio microphone. I understand why people have podcasts, and podcasts are great, or eventually we'll get those set up in the future. But that's a real radio microphone. If you really want to do broadcasting, you should probably get on a real radio microphone like this one right here. I mean, it's not really that hard. You just sit there and just try to find a real radio mic, get a signal going. And that's how it all starts. Started 6 years ago. We used to be on Thursdays. And then what happened was there was a disruption one day, and then all of a sudden just cartoon themes started playing, and we decided to move it to Saturday morning. Which is completely great, because now there is that place and time, and you can come and listen to cartoon themes, magical cartoon themes, if you will. Cartoon themes and just the things of nostalgia that brought you back when you were a child, back when you grew up and you were like, well, hey, this is the best. And I would say, hey, you're absolutely right. Cartoons were a magical time and a place. Think about it. The whole week long, you know what you would do? It would by the time Friday came around, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister were dumping water on you, on your face, just to wake you up, to get on the cheese wagon and go to school. But just think about Saturday morning for a moment. You know what was great about Saturday morning? Saturday morning was fantastic because of, well, cartoons. You'd wake up, you'd run out of your room, make sure you grab your favorite toy on the way out, run down the stairs, grab a big sugary bowl of cereal, sit down in front of the TV for hours on end, and then watch cartoons. And then the government decided to come around and take those cartoons away. So for generations, the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, kids would just watch cartoons over and over and over again until the government said, nah, nope, stop. Not going to do it, not anymore. Absolutely horrific. They said you needed more educational programming. No, that's what they said. You need to learn more about animals and math and science because you've been learning about that all week long, and we're going to take away your cartoons. Well, even though Cartoon Network that we were, talking about with Professor Deep Cut Day, are you listening to the radio only segments of the show? If you're not listening to the, this is a radio show first. And I need to sit there and say this real quick. It's a radio show first, meaning that you can listen to the show in its entirety just on audio only on the radio. Download the Live 365 app, search WDCE. You can listen to it that way if you're out of the local area. If you're here locally in the Richmond area, it's 90.1 FM. And, this is great because if you're taking your kids to soccer practice, fall ball, whatever, football games now, you can continue to listen to the show. You can continue to listen to my beautiful puppet voice. But I know what you're saying. I know, Sam. Well, listen, I hear your beautiful puppet voice, but I want to see your beautiful puppet face. Well, that's at Sam Newsman. At Sam Newsman all over social media. The Sam cams are live up and running. That's at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Facebook, at Sam Newsman on YouTube and X. We're all right here. And that's where you'll be able to find. Now, I'm going to come back, of course, around 11:11-ish. 11:11-ish. We have a memorial segment today. Yes, we do have a memorial segment. I'm sure that all of you know about the passing of James Earl Jones. That's right. James Earl Jones passed away earlier this week. Now, we've not done one of these in about a month and a half, almost 2 months, and not a lot of celebrity deaths over the last month or so. And so, but what I wanted to do, and people always wonder exactly how we do this. Well, what I do is I grab an article from the New York Times or from the Washington Post, maybe the LA Times. It depends on whichever one I think is the right one. I don't know exactly which one it is. I got to go check it out here in a few moments and see which one that we want to do. But we're going to read one of those articles. It's a live read. It's a cold read. I've never read it before. So I'm going to show up here at 11:11. We're going to honor James Earl Jones, talking about his life, his legacy, what it means for pop culture, and all of us. I mean, he is the voice of Darth Vader. Hey, right? No, listen, I'm not going to get into the Mandela effect. Luke, I'm your father, and no, I'm your father. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into that. We'd have to call up TNT Nate over on Transmission X. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Not going to do that. But one of the things I am going to do is I'm going to tell you to keep following me on social media, all over social media. That's where you're going to find me. I do have a couple of cartoon themes that I'm going to play here right now. These are the hot ones. I don't really play the hot ones too often because they're too hot. They're just way, 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 way too hot. But I'm going to play them today. I'm sure that you guys will enjoy them. But it's very important that we make sure that we establish. We're considering this the season premiere episode. I mean, of course, season premiere episode. What? Where else would we start with the fact that now I'm a back-to-back award-winning media puppet? That's right. I understand that second place is first loser. Whatever. I don't understand. Listen, it's still a silver medal. So you cannot steal my joy, Germ. You're not stealing my joy. Even if you're talking smack, you're not stealing my. I say, Germ's the producer. He's the producer of this show, the producer also of the Jeff Katz show. Been doing. It produces sometimes when old producer Dan's not around for Richmond's Morning News with John Reed. Shout out to, of course, producer Dan. God love producer Dan. What a saint. He's a saint. I call him a saint. He's an atheist. Go figure. Who would have imagined that? Shout out, of course, to brother John winning back-to-back awards for the most votes last year and this year. That's very impressive. So shout out to brother John. Shout out to old Uncle Jeff. Old Uncle Jeff. Uncle Jeff won Best Afternoon. That's a 5-peat. Yeah, for the last 5 years since the afternoon radio category was made. The only person that has won that has been old Uncle Jeff. Talk about setting the standard and raising the bar. Well, because like I say, hey, that's good stuff. Once again, like I said, we won second place. That was really the big deal that we wanted to do because we probably should have won it last year. But this year we doubled down. We did what we needed to do. We'll say, well, Sam, are you worried about first place? You're going to try to do first place next year? Listen, I am just soaking in the silver glow of this year. Really all I want to focus on right now. And yeah, so that's about it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk about James Earl Jones for a bit. Got a couple of James Earl Jones things we'll play after that segment. And maybe we'll 86 these sitcom segments that we normally do. And I'll just come back and I'll finish up the show after that segment. But we do have a memorial segment at 11:11. Memorial segment for James Earl Jones, honoring the dead the only way that we know how to do here on the only award-winning radio show dedicated to the magic and nostalgia of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real media puppet. Make sure you're listening to us live on the radio, whether that be WDCE 90.1 FM, that microphone right over there, or coast to coast and around the world on WDCE.org, or by downloading the Live 365 app. That way you can hear these cartoon themes. Listen, I got a couple of good ones coming in, and it's going to rock your Saturday morning world. And if you're not listening to us also on the radio, you're going to miss it. That's why I'm just trying to let you all know. From the most trusted, what? Yeah. Well, yeah, I should do that. Yeah. Broadcasting live from the beautiful campus here at the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday Morning.